Hello everyone, if you like the content, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell as it helps my channel a lot. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, welcome back to Lord of the Coins. Today we'll be going over an analysis of Ethereum. But before we get started with this analysis, I did want to cover some of the major indexes first, as it's pretty important to the performance of crypto overall. So we'll gauge the overall health of the traditional markets before we get started with Ethereum. So we'll begin with SPY here. So once we get to the SPY, we've been kind of covering this in some of our previous videos. We've been talking about how the SPY will get caught up in this area of supply here, and we can probably see some sort of reversal. We're also getting divergence in volume, where price is moving up and volume is moving down. Something I noticed earlier too is that we're actually getting more divergence in the RSI. So we have set a higher high here. As you can see, price action is moving up. We're setting higher highs, lower or higher lows, and higher highs. But in the RSI, we can see we're setting lower highs and lower lows. So this is a pretty telltale sign that we're actually headed down. A lot of times when you see divergence, the moves can be slightly larger. Not always, but it's definitely a possibility. So that's something to keep in mind. If I can get the moving averages out here too. So if we do look at the moving averages though, it's actually looking pretty good for us on the 4 hour. So let's go over to the daily here. We can see that the 50 MA, which is this blue line, is starting to curve up, and this 200 MA, which is this red line, is starting to curve down. If you can see a sort of a golden cross here, you know, that is a very bullish sign. There's a lot of bullish sentiment in the markets at the moment, with the Fed pivot possibly coming. So that is something to definitely watch out for. Definitely, you can check your VWAPs here. And I definitely check the VWAP on a time frame, either on the monthly. We'll check that out. That's the monthly VWAP. You can definitely see the monthly VWAP just kind of foreshadowing, you know, kind of lining up here as well. So this might be a very good point of reversal right here as well. We can check the VWAP on the quarterly as well. It's something I like to check. And this is kind of on a upward trajectory here as well. So, you know, there's a lot of confluence coming for support in this area around maybe 385 for the SPY. So definitely keep a lookout for that. You're gonna want to see price action, you know, want to see bullish price action here. If not, we definitely are on our way to set a new lower low here. So definitely keep an eye on that. I also want to check the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ has been relatively bullish. There's a lot of support here. It's been just climbing above the VWAP here, the quarterly VWAP. So that's, you know, even a greater sign. The larger time frame, and if you're traveling above it, you know, you're fairly macro bullish. So we'll go down to the monthly here, see what that looks like. We're still above the monthly VWAP. We'll go to the weekly, see how we've been doing this week. And then we'll go to a lower time frame so we can see this a little better. Oh, maybe even a lower time frame. We'll go to the 1 hour here. So it looks good. We are actually below the previous week VWAP, which is actually not a great sign. You usually want to hold the previous week VWAP if you want to see more bullish movement, but it seems like we did break down the previous week VWAP. But we do have the previous week VWAP right here, which can offer another area of support. So if you go to the daily, I want to look at the MAs here. So we did form sort of a golden cross here, and we are on our way up. What I would ideally want to see is a smaller retrace here and a continuation of this golden cross. I'm probably finding support on this 50 MA. That would ideally be what I want to see. If we go to the VWAP here, and we'll go to a larger time frame, check the monthly. This lines up with the deviation of the monthly VWAP. If you go to the quarterly, this will line up with the quarterly VWAP, which would be very good. You can even check the yearly VWAP. The yearly VWAP is a little lower, kind of with the 200 MA. So if we see a deeper retrace here, we can definitely see The 200 MA and the yearly VWAP kind of being our area of support here. Overall, looking pretty good on the NASDAQ. And the last index I always like to check are the small caps. So I like to check the Russell 2K. Usually the Russell 2K kind of mimics what the SPY is doing. So just like the SPY, it's been setting lower lows and lower highs. If we check the VWAP here too, this is the quarterly VWAP. It's lining up pretty well with the 50 MA. So that is another area of support that we can look for. On top of that, we do have a zone of demand in this area. So this is a pretty good area of confluence for some sort of reversal here and just setting a higher low and being on our way up to set a higher high and possibly forming a golden cross here sometime in the future. So overall, just to recap, we are actually looking fairly bullish on the SPY. That is purely due to technical analysis. Just looking at this, we are looking a little bullish on the SPY. So with that said, I would be looking more towards some sort of retrace for now, as we are getting kind of exhausted on the RSIs and other oscillators. So looking for some sort of retrace and probably an entry into a long. Although with that said, I still am pretty macro bearish on the crypto markets. So I do think Bitcoin will see lower levels, and that's something that I've covered in previous videos. But I definitely am more of a day trader, so I like to look at kind of the coming week to like the coming month-ish to kind of set up my trades. So let's get started here. So this is Ethereum right now. So we can check the MAs on Ethereum. So on the daily here, we are getting kind of a squeeze of the moving averages, and if we can form a golden cross here sometime in the future, maybe early next year, we can probably see some sort of up move here. But like I said, I am still relatively bearish on the crypto markets, and I do think Ethereum could see lower levels here as well, as there are relatively equal lows down here and down here. And if you follow my channel, relative equal lows very often end up getting swept. And this is actually something I just saw here on the daily. We have relative equal lows right here. You can see that there's a wick right here and a wick right here. So definitely a sweep of this level is something I'm looking at. On top of that, there is an imbalance here. Fair value gaps more than often, they end up getting filled. I'm mark this gray. So fair value gaps are just imbalance in price action, and they create gaps in candles. So with this said, definitely, probably in the 700 area to this 550 area are areas I'll be looking for longs on Ethereum. But that's more of a long-term swing trade idea. We'll just cover kind of the short term on Ethereum for now. So we'll go over to the 1 hourly here. Take a look at this price action. So looks like we're in distribution. This is known as accumulation, this is markup, and then this is distribution kind of coming down. This would be markdown coming down. So with that said, it looks like we are on our way down, but in the very short term, you're trying to find an entry. If you miss this entry in here, there'll definitely probably be another entry into this short, but that is really going to depend on a few things. So some things I did want to see here are, so we'll take the fib. So we took the fib from the swing high. I'm going to take it down to the swing low right here, which kind of gives us an area of retrace. Usually it's between the 0.5 and the 0.786, with the 0.65 and the 0.618 being the golden pocket, just the area of high confluence right here. And then I marked out a couple order blocks here. These are H1 order blocks. So let me mark those actually. I'm just gonna type H1OB. H1OB. Order blocks are just areas of high demand or supply. In this case, they're demand as they're bullish order blocks. And other stuff that I like to really mark out are the areas of VWAP. So right here is the previous week VWAP. So I'm gonna write PW VWAP. very area of high confluence and, you know, support and resistance, and just likely area of rejection. As you can see, you know, it came right down here. Something I did want to show you guys on why VWAP is so important. I posted this on my Discord. I marked out the previous week VWAP on Bitcoin, and you can see that it hit like a perfect rejection off of it. So using the VWAP is very, very important. And if you know the trader Brian Shannon, he has a book on VWAP. He pretty much said that if you don't use VWAP, you're trading blind, which I pretty much agree with him. VWAP is a fantastic indicator, so definitely be using VWAP. So another thing I want to check is VWAP on more time frames. So I'm going to check it on the monthly here, see what that looks like. So it looks like the monthly is up here, but we do have the deviation of the monthly down here. So I'm actually just mark that out right here. I'm going to write previous month VWAP lower deviation. I just like to mark these out on my map just to see, you know, to make it easier to kind of see the areas of resistance. So I'm going to go to the session VWAP now, and then go to a lower time frame. So on the lower time frame, we are trying to hold VWAP right here. So in this case, pretty much what I'm watching for right here is a claim of the VWAP right here into some sort of move up, probably fill this fair value gap, and then probably claiming this level right here at 1200. So if we can hold VWAP and then climb up here to 1200 and hold 1200, I am looking relatively, you know, bullish on Ethereum. And whoops, I'd be looking for levels to clear a lot of these highs up here. So pretty much, if you look at the macro on Ethereum, so I'm gonna go to the 4-hour here. And you know, I've covered this in my Bitcoin videos as well. We've just been, you know, after this drop, after you have impulse moves, you have a range forms. So this being the top of the range, and this being the bottom, with this being low, and this being around the midpoint. Anytime you're in the discount zone, which is this bottom area of the range, it's, you know, relatively a good idea to take longs. And when you're in this premium zone, which is this upper area of the range, it's a relatively good idea to take short trades or sell. With that said though, I am looking for Ethereum to kind of enter the premium zone here. So longs are currently in favor, and it's just finding areas of, you know, high demand and high confluence to find an entry into a long, into the premium zone. So with that said, how do we do that? So a couple things I'm going to do is the fib. So I set the fib here, and then after I set the fib, it kind of gives me a general area of where I want to look for, which is between the 0.5 and the 0.786. And after you have that, what you want to do is mark out your areas of liquidity. Right now, we form relatively equal lows right here. And I'm just going to mark that relatively equal low. And then, you know, we just have a bunch of liquidity right here, but I'm not really looking into that too much. Then on the 15, we actually have a fair value gap right here. I'm just going to extend that over. Fair value gaps, more than often they get filled. I'd say like 90% of the time. If you guys see some of my other videos, I give very specific examples on how they get filled. So definitely check those out if you haven't already. But we will kind of skip that for now and just kind of go into, you know, important areas for Ethereum. So with that said, if Ethereum can't hold the VWAP, we are looking for lower prices here. I'm looking for these relatively lows to get swept, and then also this fair value gap to get filled, and then find some sort of bounce in this area. Something like that is currently what I, you know, am looking for. Some other things you can look for are POCs. So you can take the range of your kind of desired area and see that POC exists right here of this range. So that's something to look for. Something I also love to look for areas of confluence are broken bases, and I like to find these on the 15-minute as this is just like my favorite time frame to find broken bases for areas of resistance. So broken bases are found by finding the lowest so a bullish broken base is found by finding the lowest high before the sweep. So with that said, this would be your sweep right here. That candle, it sweeps out. So what a sweep is it's a punishment from market makers punishing anyone who went long too early. So if you went long right here, hoping to ride this, you get swept out. That's what is known as a sweep. And then what known as a broken base is that last high before the sweep. It's actually down right here. Broken around this area right here. I denote that by a Y. So I'm just gonna mark this broken base with another ray, giving us more confluence in this area right here. So now that I have that, and I have the range POC, I'm gonna look for some of the more macro POCs. I do have an indicator for it. Ignore all these gray boxes. Main thing I want to look for are these lines right here. So we have the previous day POC up here, previous day value area high or value area low. But what I'm looking for are POCs down here. So we have the previous week POC right here. I'm gonna mark that. Then I'm gonna get rid of this. Pretty much I'm just looking for stuff in this area. So this is the previous week POC. That lines up, pretty well with previous week VWAP kind of being down here in this area too. So yeah, I mean, this gives us a lot of confluence in this area to look for trades here. So I'm gonna go to 4 hour here and just see where we are with the RSI. This makes a lot of sense. We're not completely exhausted on the 4 hour, but we were exhausted on the 1 and 2 hour. So we're seeing a little bit of a relief rally here, probably likely to fill either this fair value gap or this one. And we'll see how it reacts to the session VWAP, but currently those are just kind of the areas of liquidity that it's looking to sweep. So we'll look for some sort of short up here if we would like, but for me mainly I'm looking for a long trade here at the moment, just because we are in the discount zone of the macro range. Usually I don't like to take short trades when we're in the discount, as they just have a much higher probability of losing. So we'll go back to the 1 hour here. So now that we've found just a lot of confluence in this area, now what I like to do is kind of how do I explain it? I like to kind of review the trade to see if there's anything I missed. A lot of things that I will miss are relatively equal lows. So like for example, there are relatively equal lows right here, which gives me a slight pause to this trade. On top of that, we have, I think this is a session VWAP. We have the session VWAP from a few sessions ago below this, these relatively equal lows right here. That's something that I would kind of just mark out. So, and I would actually mark this out in red as kind of like a danger zone here. Do it like that. And then on top of that, it looks like we do have a fair value gap down here as well. That looks something like this. Like I said, fair value gaps more often than not, they do get filled. So definitely with some of this here, if we are looking at a deeper retrace, this is kind of the area we are looking at. And if you guys know kind of how I trade, I never really set limit orders, as my strategy revolves around just very, very high probability win rates. That's how I managed to have over an 80% win rate trading these markets. So what I like to do is I watch price action. So I'll wait for the sweep and the broken base, or known as the change of character. So right here, that is your sweep of early longers or early shorters, if it's going the other way. And then that is your broken base or change character. This is just a quick insight into my entry strategy. And what this does is it creates a zone of demand. Whenever we tap into the zone of demand, this is where I go long. So I don't go long anywhere in this area, but only when we re-tap into the zone of demand. This keeps your entry very, very consistent. And just say you set a limit order, but you never got the sweep and change of character, you're more than likely going to continue going down. And then, you know, set a limit order here, but it doesn't do this, you don't get the sweep and change of character again, you know, you're on your way down. And, you know, why risk that when you can just observe price action? I like to observe this either on the 5, 15, or the 1 hour, depending on, you know, if you're scalping, you're day trading, or you're trying to swing trade. That's kind of what I look at. So yeah, this is what I'll be looking for here in this area right here. These relatively lows in the fair value gap does give me a little pause. So I also will be looking in this area, and I never really risk more than 1% on my trades. So, you know, if I do get the sweep and change character, I'll risk 1% and enter, and then, you know, ride this trade. If I get a sweep and change character, I enter, and, you know, price action decides to be, you know, just very unpredictable, and we go back down, I lose my 1% and I'll re-enter here. That's just kind of how I'm going to approach Ethereum at the moment. As, you know, if we do catch, just say we catch this right here, you know, we're looking at a pretty good trade, because we are looking rather bullish to enter, you know, at least the premium zone up here, which would give us, you know, a 15% gain, which is a really great trade. So that is definitely what I'm looking at here. If you like to trade based on Elliott wave theory, bring this out. You know, we do have, like, you know, this is kind of sloppy. 1, 2, and then 3, and then that's your ABC, and then you have your first down move, and then you'll have your second down move before continuing up again. You know, make your 3 moves. Oh boy. After you make your 3 moves like this, sorry, it's kind of sloppy, you know, you have your 2 moves down again. You know, that's kind of how Elliott wave theory works. So if that's something you like to trade off of, that's something to note as well. But yeah, that's just a, I guess it's kind of a long run now, it's like 20 minutes, but that's just kind of my view on Ethereum at the moment. These are the levels I'd be looking for. We did find a little bit of rejection here, but I think this is more of a temporary relief rally that will just get, not even a relief rally, just a temporary little bounce that we'll get before coming back down. You can possibly fill these fair value gaps, but I think likely we can probably fill them later. You know, I think we might lose this VWAP and we'll end up dropping down, but that's something we just have to observe price action and see. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this content, let me know. If there are any other crypto or, you know, forex pairs that you guys want me to look at, please leave a comment or join the Discord, as, you know, I can make a video on those as well. Or if you don't want a video, you just kind of want an answer, I can, you know, I can hit you up on a DM or just in the comments as well here. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.